The Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov says Moscow is alarmed by America's actions in Mosul, which may have resulted in mass civilian casualties. He also said Russia had requested an emergency session of the UN Security Council.
We've been calling to the attention of the UN Security Council the growing civilian casualties in Mosul in the past month. The recent tragedy, which happened on March 17th, stands out because of the sheer number of civilian deaths. I find it odd that during the bombing, which lasted hours, the coalition failed to ensure that they were not hitting civilians. We are, of course, interested in Mosul being freed from Islamic State, but coalition strikes must be accurate. We expect the coalition to act cautiously and responsibly in Mosul. We've requested an emergency session at the UN Security Council to voice our concerns.
A recent airstrike made headlines around the world after more than 200 people were killed. The Pentagon later confirmed it had carried out an operation in the area. However, no one seems ready to take responsibility for the mass civilian casualties. Murad Gazdiev reports from Mosul.
The scale of civilian casualties in Mosul is unparalleled in recent history.
واحنا طلعنا يعني من الضرب من القصف احنا طلعنا ايه طلعنا من القصف من الضرب
والله دمار والله دمار والله بيت عمي 15 نفر ظلوا جوا الانقاذ بالقصف الطيران قصف الطيران نعم
قصف الطيران واجعلنا دق ما نبطل ابد.
Just this month, an estimated 600 civilians have been killed in US-led coalition airstrikes. Just coalition airstrikes, and that's being conservative.
There are tiny alleyways. If there is an explosion, it's almost as if there's a blast chamber, so the impact of the explosion is far greater. If you're a family and you're trying to leave, you're in danger. If you're a family and you're staying, you're in danger.
There's no way out. You stay, you die. You run, you die.
الجانب العراقي والجانب الأمريكي الكل يأكدون أنه معركة سهلة مما أدى إلى أن الناس تطمئن ما تترك بيوتها ما تعرف راح يجري عليه هذا القصف.
أدري الشعور عندنا من هذا التحرير لو من الدواعش واللي أظل عندنا شعور إذا كل شيء راح من عندنا إذا أخوك وأبوك عاد يدفنوا بيدك عوائل مدفونة جوا القاع أنقاذ ما حد يقدر يطلعها.
In mid-March, a suspected coalition airstrike killed as many as 200 people in Mosul. It took days for the first reports to come out, and days more for some sort of reaction.
The United Nations is profoundly concerned by reports yesterday of a high number of civilian casualties in Al-Ghawat al-Jadida in Iraq, a densely populated neighborhood in Mosul. Initial reports indicate hundreds of casualties.
It took even longer for the US to acknowledge the incident.
At the request of the Iraqi security forces, the coalition struck ISIS fighters and equipment March 17th in West Mosul at the location corresponding to allegations of civilian casualties.
The military then banned news teams from visiting the area. We were told to forget about going there altogether. Then,
a team of military experts found that the house was 100% destroyed. All of the walls are booby-trapped, and there is no hole or other indication suggesting it was subjected to an airstrike.
The Iraqi security forces say that there were booby traps there. They say there was no evidence in terms of holes, presumably they mean in the roof of the building where an airborne projectile could have landed. But then that seems to be contradicted, or at least there's an element of inconsistency introduced when they say that the building was totally destroyed, which begs the question what kind of evidence they were hoping to find. The explanation that the Iraqis have given in the last day or so, last few hours, doesn't tally with what we already know from other sources coming from the ground and from what the Americans have said themselves.
At the same time, rescuers who are actually digging out the bodies say they have no doubt it was an airstrike. Even so, the story changed again.
The force of the strike that did take out the truck that is believed to have been laden with explosives did also result in the complete collapse of a number of homes.
If you were completely confused, that apparently was the intent.
When we're in Mosul, we don't have free access. The Iraqi military stages daily guided tours for journalists in Mosul. They decide on what we film, who we talk to, where we go. Going to the more destroyed neighborhoods, for example, is all but forbidden. On one occasion, while my cameraman and me were filming a destroyed building, an Iraqi officer walks up to us and says, "You can't do that. Stop showing the destruction here." On another occasion, they gathered all the journalists together and told us bluntly that negative coverage of the operation would see us kicked out.
The Iraqi military and the US-led coalition don't like bad press. And what we're seeing is how far they will go to stifle the truth. It's difficult, if not impossible, to know what actually happened. Know only this: the civilian casualties we're hearing about in Mosul are just the tip of a mountain of corpses. Morad Gazdiev, RT, from Mosul, Iraq.
As the US-backed operation to liberate the Iraqi city of Mosul from Islamic State intensifies, civilians fleeing the fighting and those still in the city have been describing horrific scenes that have now become part of their everyday lives.
البيت ما انضرب، خلفنا انضرب بالطيارة هزاز بوع هنا. هاي الشارع كله خرب. هاي جاي من الشارع الثاني، انت لو تشوف الشارع الثاني تخاف. الشارع اللي في خلفنا غير تخاف. هي بسبب ضربة الصاروخ. يعني أنا مرتي ماتت من القصف. ما كل ذلك كلام ما أقدرش أعذر لي.
خاص هاي المعاناة يعني مع الجهال والنسوان وماكو عناية طبية وماكو. أنا الطفل صار له 4 أيام لحق على حالته لحق جفاف عنده. يعني معاناة ايش قد ما احكي لك اياها ايش قد ما احكي لك اياها بالاعلام ما تتصور نهائيا.